Okay, so, ready to dive into the world of generative AI. But, not the way everyone else seems to be doing it lately.
I'm with you. It feels like everyone's just talking about the same few things.
Right. It's all NVIDIA stock this, AI bubble bursting that.
Makes you wonder if there's anything else going on.
Exactly. But there's got to be more to the story, right? Like, who else is making moves? Who's quietly winning in all this Gen AI craziness? That's what I want to unpack today.
Love it. You're spot on. It's easy to get caught up in the hype cycle, but to really get it, you got to zoom out.
Okay, so how do we do that? Where do we even start?
Well, if you think about it, generative AI, it's not just one thing. It's a whole ecosystem.
Okay.
Like imagine a cake, right? Everyone sees the frosting, the decorations. That's what gets all the attention. But what makes it all work is the stuff you don't always see, the ingredients, the baking process, all of that.
So what are the hidden ingredients in this Gen AI cake?
Exactly. We're talking about the tech stack, all the layers that make this stuff actually work.
Tech stack. All right, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me.
All right, so let's start at the very bottom. The foundation, that's the hardware. We're talking companies like NVIDIA, AMD, ASML. They're building this super powerful stuff that makes AI even possible.
You mean like the actual chips and stuff, the physical thing?
Yep. GPUs, specialized equipment, that's where it starts. And these companies, they're raking it in because AI needs massive computing power.
So even if most people on the street wouldn't know a GPU from a stop sign, these companies are sitting pretty.
You got it. And it's not just about the money either. Think about TSMC. They're a huge GE player in chip manufacturing.
Right, I've heard the name.
They've got so much control over the world's advanced chip production that they're basically calling the shots in international relations now.
Whoa, really? Just from making chips?
It's wild, right? Like a tech company influencing global politics. That's how essential they've become.
That's insane. Okay, so we've got the hardware, the foundation of our AI cake. What's the next layer?
Now, this is where things get really interesting, especially for you, the everyday user.
Ooh, okay, hit me.
Layer 2 is all about the brains of the operation, the LLMs, large language models.
Oh, so we're talking about ChatGPT, Claude, all those?
Exactly. That's where they live, in that layer. These LLMs, they process information, they spit out human-like text. It's really something else.
I mean, it's kind of freaky how good they're getting.
It really is. But here's the thing. Running these models, crazy expensive.
Makes sense. They must be power hogs.
Oh, big time. Remember all that powerful hardware we talked about? It needs a ton of energy, infrastructure, the works. And that brings us to the next layer.
Let me guess, this is where the big tech players come in to provide all that.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it. Layer 3 and 4, that's where you see Microsoft, Google, all the familiar faces.
So they're like the bakers, right?
Yeah.
Packaging and presenting these AI models to the world.
In a way, yeah. But it's sneakier than that. Let's take Microsoft. They poured a cool $13 billion into OpenAI.
Whoa, OpenAI, the ChatGPT people. $13 billion. They're really going all in on them.
Right. Sounds like they want OpenAI to just, dominate. But here's the kicker. All those GPTs, no matter who you're paying to use them, they run on Microsoft's cloud.
Azure. Right, I've heard of it.
Yep, Azure. So even if some other company comes up with a killer AI model using a GPT, Microsoft still wins.
Wow, it's like owning the casino instead of just playing the slots.
Exactly. They've set themselves up perfectly no matter who's building the individual AI models.
All right, so maybe it's not as simple as it seems at first glance. This stack view is pretty eye-opening. I'm seeing things differently already.
Right. It's about peeling back those layers.
So what's the final layer of our AI cake? Where do we, the regular folks, fit into all of this?
This is where it all comes together. Layers 5 and beyond. It's all about how this stuff gets used in the real world. Marketing, consulting, even you and me, just trying to write better emails, it's everywhere.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm excited about.
Right.
Because we hear about AI changing the world, but is it actually happening?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just hype. We're talking major companies like BCG and Accenture. They're seeing huge growth from AI projects.
Really? So this isn't just some fad?
No way. This is the future unfolding right in front of us. It's changing how we work, how we live, everything.
Wow, I did not see all of that coming from our little chat about AI.
See? That's the power of the stack. It opens up a whole new perspective.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We've got chip makers basically becoming global superpowers, AI models guzzling down data like it's oxygen, big tech pulling all these invisible strings, and here I am just trying to figure out if AI can finally help me write a decent email.
It's a lot, right? But that's kind of the point of looking at it this way with the stack.
I get that, seeing the whole picture and all, but for those of us who aren't, building supercomputers in our basements, why does this stack idea really matter? What's the takeaway for the average person?
It boils down to making smart choices no matter who you are. This stack view cuts through the noise and helps you see what's really driving the AI train.
Okay, I think I'm following you.
Remember all that talk about tech valuations going through the roof? Understanding who actually has the power in this whole setup, who's essential, that helps you figure out if those valuations make any sense, or if we're all headed for another dot-com bubble burst.
Oh, that's a really good point. I hadn't even thought about that.
It's easy to get swept up in the excitement, but this way of looking at it, the stack way, helps you read those headlines with a critical eye. It's about more than just whatever the cool new AI toy is this week.
Totally. So it's not just about today, right? It's about what this all means for the future.
Exactly. The ecosystem view, it's about understanding where the power lies today so we can try to anticipate who comes out on top as AI keeps evolving.
So it's not just about who's making bank right now, but who's setting themselves up for long-term domination.
You got it. And Google's a perfect example of this whole dynamic in action.
You mean with search?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've definitely been wondering about that. Ever since ChatGPT hit the scene, it's like, is Google search even going to be a thing anymore?
It's a legitimate question. Think about it. Google built this empire on giving us information through those search results. But now you've got these AI tools that are like, hey, let's have a conversation instead. Let's get personal. It's a whole different ballgame.
It's true, and it does feel way more natural, honestly. So is Google just going to fade out like, over those things? The yellow pages?
Right. Who even uses those anymore? It's definitely a possibility. But it shows you how fast things can change in tech. Google's scrambling to adapt. They're throwing AI-powered features into search, trying to make it more conversational. Will it be enough? Who knows?
Have you noticed any big changes with Google search yourself since all this AI stuff blew up?
Oh, for sure. You see more and more AI sprinkled in. The way they present information, it's definitely trying to be more conversational, more intuitive. It'll be fascinating to see what happens over the next few years,
Yeah, talk about a cliffhanger. What will search even look like in 5-10 years?
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of nervous and excited all at the same time.
Me too. And that's the thing about this whole GenAI revolution. It's still so early. We're just at the beginning.
It's kind of wild, right? We started with wanting to spice up our emails, and somehow we ended up in this world of, geopolitical chess matches, AI arms races, the future of Google, everything.
That's the thing about generative AI. It's like this massive spider web. Everything's connected.
I'm telling you, at the beginning of this whole thing, if you'd said we'd be talking about the fate of Google and, the power dynamics of chip manufacturing, I'd have been like, what's in the water?
Right. But that's why we do these deep dives. You never know what you're going to uncover when you start peeling back those layers.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Mm-hmm.
So as we wrap up this AI adventure, what's the main thing you want folks to walk away with? What's the big takeaway?
I think it's realizing that this Gen AI revolution, it's not just about the fancy tech toys or which companies are swimming in cash right now. It's much, much bigger than that.
Okay, so then what is it about?
It's about understanding the forces that are shaping this whole thing, this technology that's got the potential to completely change how we live our lives.
So we shouldn't just be along for the ride.
Exactly. It's about being informed, being aware of the whole stack, from those chips to the AI models to who's actually in control, because then we get to make conscious choices about the future we want to create.
Love it. Take control, understand the system, make it work for you. And on that note, I'm going to leave everyone with one final thought to chew on. As you keep exploring the world of AI, ask yourself, what role do you want to play in shaping this crazy, exciting, potentially world-changing technology?
Now that's a question worth pondering.
It really is.
Yeah.
Until next time, everyone, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world all around us.